And I have just hit the record button. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Swords of the Serpentine, a gumshoe sword and sorcery game. We are playing on the Gauntlet. My name is Mike. I will be your GM tonight. I'd like to introduce our players. Joe, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm Joe, they, them, she, her. I'm playing Vivi the dancer, who is pretty much a con artist. She's she, her. Uh, her drives are luxury, wealth, and attain a position of security. She's basic. She wants to survive and live in comfort. So like very basic. So
Awesome. I guess we'll go on. I'll just go. I'll just go left to right as your images appear on my screen. So, Jason, why don't you go?
Sure, I'm Jason. I use he, him pronouns. My character is the White Ruin. He uses he, him pronouns. He is a man of the farthest reaches of the northern ice ranges. He's 7 feet tall. He's 300 and some pounds. He has a cold, icy radiance that comes off of his body because he is possessed by the demon queen of the north, the Ice Bitch. And his goal is to find the demons that have been enslaved and to free them. I think enough said on him.
Fantastic. Who is next? Chris, why don't you go next?
Hi, I'm Chris. I go by he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Elder Kaburi, she, her, and she would describe herself as just merely a gossipy busybody, but in reality, she's a semi-retired spire master from the Shelter Isles, who's here to find out anything she can about the Court of Tides and to ultimately destroy them.
Awesome. Thank you. And Lowell.
So my character is Brisantimus, the bearer of the Dragon Key. I am, like the White Ruin, a mage, but I'm really a mage. White Ruin does other things. I'm really a mage. Essentially, I got my powers long ago when I accidentally swallowed an artifact. I've been around a very long time, worked on and off with the City Watch, much older than I look. Last time I blew fire out and lit some sails on fire, and it was pretty awesome until it wasn't.
Fantastic. I forgot to mention my pronouns are he, him. We are all returning players. Last time we did go over some lines and veils. So they are on the safety and resources tab of our character keeper. So briefly, veils are things, lines are things that are not going to happen in the game. Veils are things that are only going to happen off camera, or things that we may acknowledge the existence thereof, but will not see. Briefly want to mention the X card. If we hit anything in this game that you don't want to deal with for whatever reason, you can say the phrase X card. We're all on video, so you can make the universal X card gesture on camera. There's also an X card button on our roll for your party dice roller, so you can hit that, and that will notify everyone. Anyone who invokes the X card, let me know briefly what specific thing we need to take out of the game, and we can just we'll pause. We'll take that out of the game, rewind, replay the scene from a different angle without that element. And anyone can X card anything, not just me. If you don't like something that another player said, we can pull it out. Finally, this game has open door. Anyone can call for a break at any time. Anyone can step away for any reason and come back when you want to. I do ask, however, that if you're going to step away and not come back, I would appreciate the courtesy if you tell us that you're not going to come back, just so that we're not like pausing and waiting for you. But if you have to go, you have to go, and that's what Open Door is for. Sort of on Open Door, one thing I do want to mention is the one thing I like to say is, if for whatever reason I like step away from the camera and don't come back and don't tell you what's going on, or if I suddenly freeze out or lose my connection, I think it will be safe to assume that, and I'm gone for 10 minutes without letting you know, it's safe to assume that the game is over. I'm probably not going to come back. I do have all the players' email addresses, so if for whatever reason I've lost partial internet, but I still have cell service, I'll try to get you an email to let you know what's going on. But if you don't hear from me for 10 minutes, assume the game is over and go on with the rest of your evening. All right. So I guess I will give a brief recap from last week. So our bold and brave heroes were aboard the ship, the coin. Was it Precious Coin?
Something coin.
Shining Coin. You're aboard the merchant vessel, the Shining Coin, coming back to the great city of Eversink from an unsuccessful expedition. You're perhaps a week or so out from the Eversink when your ship was attacked by pirates. Captain Precious Coin Tongue, captain of the pirate vessel, the Squandered Hope, attacked, and yet apparently bit off more than she could chew, because between your prowess at blade, between your prowess at blades and your command of magical forces, you quickly repelled the pirate invasion. Berzantimus invoked magical power and breathed dragon fire onto the pirate ship, incinerating its sails and catching the deck on fire, and causing the captain to call off the attack. And I forget who it was, but I believe it was White Ruin. Then successfully intimidated the first mate of the Squandered Hope to hand over their captain, and he did. At that, you cut the lines, you set sail, leaving the pirates to deal with their heavily damaged and burning ship. But you now have captured Precious. You have captured Precious Coin Tongue, Scourge of the Seas, and you are now returning to your journey to Eversink, leaving the burning pirate ship behind you. I guess my first question is, in just the minutes or hours after you've left the burning pirate ship, what are you going to do with Captain Cointongue? What she is not happy to be here. She is being pretty surly.
Well, I've lashed her to the foremast, and I'm laying out some various bones and magic trinkets, and I'm preparing a ritual to draw her soul into a walrus tooth that's covered in magic runes for dark purposes.
Whoa, 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 White Ruin. White Ruin. Dude, I understand your desire to do that hankering that you get, in the pit of your soul to just yank souls out for nefarious purposes. However, this woman is worth a lot of money.
Her body will still be intact.
No, that's not how.
In fact, she'll still be able to walk and breathe.
No. No. I gotta say I'm not down with that. Friend. look, we can either hand her over to authorities when we get there. Fine, we'll get the money, and then you can find some delicious people to do whatever sort of outside of where I am. I don't care. Or I'm maybe she has friends in the city that would really be willing to like pay her parole, as it were. So I know Vivi was not entirely happy with the idea of us just handing her over to the authorities.
Well, I don't know.
Well, very well, Byzantius, but you owe me a soul. And you already told me there were demons where we came from, and there were no demons. So that's two things you owe me now.
Fair enough.
You don't demand a lot, do you, White Ruin? Just souls and demons.
I turn and I say, on the other hand, he was the one standing at the boarding bridge, so
This is fair, I suppose. I don't know.
yes, I'll owe you. You don't. We leave her alone.
Look, killing someone is one thing, but taking their soul is another. I'm sorry.
Well, once White Ruin maybe has stepped away, demon things. I think that's the time that I play good cop with her. I'm like, gee, I don't know how much longer I'm able to keep him under control. He's just a wild card.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
To which she says, "Well, I think I appreciate you convincing him to spare my soul, because that is very dark magic he was threatening to do against me."
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you'd be
for that-
enslaved
for
to
that,
him
I think-
forever.
Yes.
For
that, I thank you.
Dark. That's. I think you're missing the other part of that magic, which it was both dark and cold. Not a pleasant combination. Now that Chrysanthemum has so graciously preserved your soul from the White Ruin's rapaciousness, I think now would be a good time, Captain, or former Captain, to discuss the preservation of perhaps your body and its integrity from the city authorities.
Yes, there's a price on my head. I'm aware of that. I would imagine that's why you asked for me to claim the bounty.
Yes, but your head could claim that bounty almost as easy, almost as much as you alive would. So the White Ruin did have the right of that. However, there are certain things that could convince us, me, to petition for perhaps a lighter sentence than the city would otherwise like to bestow upon you.
If I may speak plainly.
She says, I am in not much of a position to object.
None of us are of the City Watch at this moment. And if you were to have an alternative source of income for us, that would be equivalent or better than the bounty, then we could work something out.
Okay, I'm breaking character for a moment. Character for a moment. I'm just looking at what some of your skills are to see what I can do.
And actually, I'll kind of like I'll set that stage, and then Vivi will kind of gesture to you. Maybe you talk to her. Are you cool with that, Vivi?
Sure,
Okay.
I can talk to her.
Because you're certainly more charming, and you have more experience with the people that she's from than we do. So
That's true. That's true.
I'll let Vivi speak with you about this. And Elder, shall we step away?
So, Vivi, I will tell you, just because you have a rank of scurrilous rumors. Yeah, there is a price on her head. So the the price on her head is 4 wealth, which is not. It's not a king's ransom, but it's a lesser lord's. That's a lesser lord's ransom. So that is a not insignificant amount of money. And she's worth, she's worth half that dead.
Ask her if she knows about demons.
No, I don't care about your demons.
To which and she says, so, she looks you up and down.
Hey, how are you? I'm not good, I'm presuming.
Well, I've had better days, shall we say?
Yeah, I can imagine. You really just, C's big. You saw what you saw. I get it. I get it. These things happen. Probably not often.
No, I've not. I've never. Well, it's been a long time since I've lost a ship.
Well, there's always other ships to get, right? Hopefully, if we can come to some sort of arrangement.
Yes, I do have some. I do have a few friends in the city. Alas, most of my treasure was on that ship that.
Oh, you kept. Was it
on
though?
That ship that,
was it though? Come on,
burning the waterline.
You can talk to me, like I've been on quite a few ships. Ships like your profession. You rarely keep the majority of your wealth on your ship because it might sink. So if I can arrange a way to help you once we land, after coin gets exchanged, but you don't have to end up hanging.
Breaking out of character. Awesome. This could be an opportunity to do an investigative point spend to pull her over. So I'll just tell you, if you want to spend if you want to spend a point of charm, she's probably going to give you she's probably going to give up some information, including possibly the ability to at least match the bounty that's on her head.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. Spend a point of charm.
To which she sighs and says, "Okay. Yes, I've got some money in the city."
In the city. Okay.
Yeah, I've got some money stashed away in Eversink. I slip in every once in a while. I've got some. So if you if you let me go, I can lead you to it. It's okay. Right now, I don't have. And she cites a figure of that's. She cites a figure that's 2 wealth. I can get to that now. I can also give you a really good business opportunity.
Go on.
And she looks toward, she looks in the direction where White Ruin is standing. She says, "Now, seeing as you hang out with gentlemen of that ilk," and she nods.
Yeah, scary people.
I would imagine that you folks probably rack up a bit of a body count.
You could say that.
So I have an in on where you can, shall we say, turn in bodies for very good coin.
Okay. Do they have to be living, dead?
Oh no, they want no. Oh no, there's somebody who's paying a hefty price for corpses.
Okay. All right. Well, he's really obsessed with souls. Is that fine? Is that going to be a problem?
Well, look, Dinestra wants corpses and is paying premium prices for it. In fact, her prices were so good, I have stepped away from my usual practices, which I'm sure is exactly why I'm here and not aboard my ship.
Yeah, well, this is me judging you now. Piracy is much better than corpse selling, but we do what we must.
So she says, I'm sure you know my reputation. Oh, and you totally know her reputation. Her MO has always been the people that she kills on her pirate raids. She will
Toss us to the sea, right?
Yeah, she puts a penny under their tongue and tosses them to the sea for the blessings of the sea gods. She hasn't been doing, and she goes on to explain that she hasn't been doing that. She's been keeping the bodies aboard.
Okay, yeah, I get you now.
She's been keeping the bodies aboard and has been basically selling them to this Donestra person. And you've got a point, and again, you've got a point of scurrilous rumors, and I'm going to say that you know who Donestra is. She's just a kind of a scary tough who works out of the docks, who works on dockside in the worst section of the city called the Tangle, and she's basically a pretty mean and scary thug who kind of hires herself out to the highest bidder.
All right, well, I mean, so selling corpses to her is what your pitch for us to make more money. Okay, I can understand that. I mean, we'd have to create some corpses. I mean, is she just like stationed there?
Oh, and well, I mean, the corpse take. I mean, she's muscled in on the corpse takers. She's muscled in on the corpse takers turf. So, and again, this. Normally, when ships come up to Eversink, any people that died. Here's one thing about Eversink's religion, and that is, you only go on to the afterlife. You can only remain in the afterlife for as long as people remember you. And the way that you are remembered is there's a thriving trade in funerary statues. So Eversink is just festooned with funerary statues. So this is why most of the time, ships that sail out of Eversink, they basically keep corpses on cold storage and bring them back so that their families can claim the body and build a funerary statue for them so that their souls will go on and remain in whatever the afterlife is. Because if you don't, that's why that's how souls like stick around and become ghosts and haunt places. Sure. So normally the Church of Denari sends out corpse takers to take the corpses off and
okay.
And bring them.
All right, so we're just cutting in on the church. That's no big for me. I mean, I'll run it by the others, but don't worry. Like you and I definitely.
I can get you two. And if I can get back on my feet and do some more work, I might be able to get more. But
I mean, look.
I'm telling you my best lead here.
Yeah, no, hun, don't worry. We've got an arrangement. I'll break you out after we turn you in, just as that way I'll get 4. That way we get 4 or 6.
Well, wait, you're still going to turn me in?
Yeah.
They want me
to. You're a woman that knows about profit, right?
They want me to hang.
Yeah, but they don't hang immediately. They got to go through the whole rigmarole. I know the city pretty well, hon. You can trust me because I got 2 untrustworthy.
Are you burning a point of trustworthy to make me go along with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead and burn a point of trustworthy. You have totally. She is totally on board with giving you with giving you the 2, and then letting you turn her into the authorities for the 4, and then she is trusting you to spring her later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So I'll go talk to the others. Relay the. Okay. She's offered some other avenues of revenue for us. Dinestra buying up corpses in the docks.
Dinestra's just a thug. What's Dinestra doing with corpse buying?
I don't know. I don't even think we have.
I'm sure it's completely above board with absolutely no downside.
Do we have a lot of corpses on board?
We could.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Not the ideal. Not the ideal. But like what I'm saying is like I guess White Ruin, obviously dead bodies usually follow you or end up wherever you are. So like we know what to do with them should that happen, but also like and also I've got some wealth out of her. Did I get it already or is it I don't
You haven't gotten the wealth out of her. She didn't tell you where it is. She wants to lead you to it.
Okay,
Once you're in the city.
No problem.
How do you want to play this, Vivi?
Well, we're gonna turn her in, then I'm gonna break her out, and then she's gonna lead me to and so we get paid even more.
Well, we should have her lead us to her money, then turn her in, then break her out, but we're not going to do that part, are we?
I will. But like it's gonna be hard to lead her when we dock, because generally the inspection when we dock.
And the captain knows.
Yeah. There's that.
Well, we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Look.
No. They're still on the corpse ship. Okay, no.
Yeah, there's a whole crew. You can't kill them all because we don't know how to sail this by
yes.
ourselves.
Oh, yes.
Look,
Yeah,
you
I don't think any of us have actual boating skills at all.
You can.
Now you owe me 3 souls.
I do not.
I will point out that you could conceivably convince the captain to turn around and go back to that burning pirate ship and attempt to
No.
That seems
throw
like
it
a
in.
lot of work.
Let's go into town. Let's turn her in for the bounty, and then we'll figure out where we go from there.
I would like to. Kaburi has some questions for the pirate captain, separate from all of this, actually, regarding the Court of Tides part of her drive. Like she wants to see if the captain has any information about that. Since we've got her like as a captive audience, literally, for those questions.
So remind me, the Court of Tides. I think
it's basically it's one of Kaburi's drives. It's not. It's something we haven't officially established like a whole lot of fiction around yet.
Okay.
And my conception of it originally is that it's basically it's a shadowy extra governmental organization that basically does a lot of privateer financing. And works with a bunch of other merchant type outfits to kind of manipulate trade and piracy around the area of the city in order to maximize the profits for some and minimize the profits for others.
So kind of a shadowy mercantile organization that operates out of
like a mercantile mob maritime mercantile mob might be a good analogy for it. Like it's kind of below the radar of most of just about every law enforcement organization. But it's got this sort of like underground underground presence where it sort of directs resources to places it likes and maximizes profits for some privateer organizations, basically ruins some countries' economies in order to accomplish some sort of shadowy aim, which Kaburi is not really sure what that aim is. She just knows that in the past it has proved hostile to her home, and she still has a vengeance on her mind about it.
Okay, cool. I like that. That's awesome. That actually that will totally fit. So you are asking asking Captain Cointongue about the Court of Tides. You ask about the Court of Tides, and I'm going to say that a look of fear crosses her face. Like, what do you know of them? They're not.
I know of them, and that I do not intend to trifle with them. Trifling is not what I do.
Well, yes. I mean, those who ply my trade do have to deal with them from time to time. And shall we say that the last time I saw a magic user like your friend over there do that kind of damage to a ship was when we crossed paths with a Court of Tides enforcer.
They are ruthless and destructive when they need to be.
Yes, and it's generally a lot easier to just pay them off and give them their cut, and they mostly let you alone as long as you keep paying them.
Yes. What I want, for my part in your, shall we say, unfortunate escape from the authorities in the city of Eversink, is a name. You know your contact, who you have to pay to ply your trade without their interference.
She says, if I give you that name, they'll know who gave it to you.
Yes, but you see, if you don't give me that name, all such unfortunate things could accidentally befall you before you make it out of the city's clutches. These others, they certainly know their business, and they will endeavor to fulfill their ends of the bargains. I mean, as much as you can trust any bargain made by the White Ruin, he's an absolute madman. And Chrysanthemous will mean well. Vivi has a good heart somewhere, I think, in a jar. And but there are those who are, shall we say, people of action. You perhaps are one such. They are others of that ilk. I am the person who plans. I am the person who gets things to work. I'm the person who directs action. And without a plan, do you really think an escape from Eversink's guards, who really want to make a public show of you? Let's be honest. I mean, that's why we would have time to help you escape. They want to make as much of a public show of your trial and summary, and ultimately summary execution, as they possibly can. You and I both know there will be no fair trial. They will not try you. They will parade you. You don't want that to happen. That is a sure death. The Court of Tides is a possibility.
So I'm going to engage game mechanics here. It sounds like you're trying to intimidate her, but it doesn't look like you got points in intimidation.
Yeah,
if you can tell me what other angle you're going for, I think basically, I'm going to tell you, in order for her to give up this name, it's going to require an investigative point spend.
Yeah, I'm thinking skullduggery because what I'm threatening is basically underhanded, ruthless shit, basically blackmailing and that sort of thing. Like I'm
100%.
basically leaning on that.
100%. That totally works. So, so yeah, spend point skullduggery, and you know, she nods as your. I kind of, I don't want to play your character for you. I imagine Elder Kabori is like leaning in and talking very quiet. Leaning in and talking very quiet.
Oh yes.
Matter of
She doesn't shout. She never shouts. It's all this sort of whisper that you have to lean in to hear. The only time she makes herself heard is when she's using taunt, because that only works if you really are poking the bear with a stick. So
Okay.
skullduggery is whispers. That's what skullduggery does in my mind.
Absolutely. Trying to think of a name here.
If you want to, you can think of it later. I'll just make a note that I have a name for the Court of Tides, and we can settle up who it is later if you'd like.
I like that. I'm going to make a note in my notes that Denastra or that Captain Cointongue gave up her contact name. To Court of Tides. Okay, I'm thinking that name is going to be more of a. It's going to be more like a code name. It's not an actual. It's not a name, but it's going to be enough to. It's going to be enough to like triangulate toward them. I love that we're now. I love that we're now like basically setting up the next mystery here. Is there anything else you want to try to get out of Captain Cointongue, or shall we move on to? I'd like to run a little montage sequence of the rest of the sailing to Eversink.
Sounds good.
Okay. So in a montage, this is a montage sequence, which I kind of like the mechanic. Honestly, it bears a lot. It's kind of similar to some other like story game techniques, but I like how it kind of codifies. Basically, one character will set up a one player will basically we're just going to narrate a little montage of the ship returning to Eversink, encountering some kind of problem and overcoming it. So, would anyone particularly like to start? And I will. I'll pose the first question, or I can just pick somebody.
So you're posing the question?
Yeah, I'm going to pose a question. Basically.
How about if we're attacked by a kraken or something?
Yeah, I was going to say. So basically, someone's going to. So one player is going to set up a danger or other situation that your ship encounters on the way back. The next person is going to tell us how it's even worse than what the first person said. Someone else will tell us how you overcame it, and then someone can narrate the and then finally the last person can narrate what it looks like to enter the city or to sail into the harbor. So who would like to set up the initial problem?
Okay, so how about the kraken idea? Would that work? Would you more detail than that, maybe? Or
Yeah,
is
a
that
little
a
more.
good start?
So why don't you tell us what this tell us what this kraken set the scene, paint the scene. How is the so what happens when you encounter a kraken?
It's midnight, and White Ruin is sitting on the deck, and there's some sort of weird spirits flowing around him, and he hears a scream, and he looks over, and there is a two tentacles, giant tentacles that have come up and grabbed a crewman, off the poop deck, and somebody else off of like the crow's nest or something, like, and he grabs his weapons and leaps into action. How's that?
I love it. So the ship is being attacked by a kraken. Picked up a couple of people, picked up a couple of crewmen, and White Ruin's about to enter. Elder Kaburi, tell us, how is this even worse than it initially appeared?
I think it's not just one kraken. I think the captain has accidentally sailed into what they didn't realize was basically a kraken courtship zone. Basically, there's several kraken that have come to the surface doing some sort of ritualized courtship activity, and we just happen to be like an hors d'oeuvre tray that sailed through this. So it's not just one kraken. There are at least three different sets of tentacles here, because they're slightly different colors. That's how we can tell there's more than one.
Awesome. Lowell, would you like to tell us, so how do you successfully overcome this obstacle that you have unknowingly sailed into the midst of a kraken mating ritual?
I think we will realize that we don't have to take on all three of these. We just need to get one of them to bleed a lot. And the other two kraken will swarm on it, sensing weakness immediately. There's some kind of weird courtship, multi-gender mantis kind of mating ritual going on here. And so if we can, I imagine that the White Ruin can probably freeze a section of this thing's skin, and then if we lay in with whatever weapons we have at hand, we can crack that open and get its blood spilling out onto the water.
Cool. And so so once the blood spills in the water, how do the rest of them break off the attack?
Oh, I imagine that there's still the shaking of the ship. More people are eaten. I imagine that we see Vivi dancing between the tentacles there. I'm trying to also, my morale's pretty low, so I'm also trying to run. But at some point, once this frozen slushy blood comes spraying out over the water, that all it takes is one of the two to suddenly smell that, grab on, and then the other one doesn't want to let that third one have it. So suddenly there is a massive tentacle. They're wrestling. I hope it's just wrestling, because otherwise, this is going to just stay with me forever. The vision, but yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Awesome. Fantastic. I love that. That's that's a little travel montage. And everyone. So it's a few more days. Everyone resets their. Everyone can reset their health, their morale, and all of their general abilities that you have used in the last fight. So those all go back to full. And it's a few more days, and you are sailing into the city of Eversink. You can tell that you're approaching because you can see the land ahead. And Joe, would you like to describe a little bit about coming into this, about coming into the city of Eversink, and like what you see, what you encounter?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very busy docks. Like this ship's not like a huge galleon, so like we've got like a slip that we can pull right into, where one of the harbor masters people comes to inspect. I guess maybe those dead collectors are there. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, like, and of course the captain's there and well present, so like we can. It's like, hey, we've got a bounty to collect on. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have.
Got it. So if it's okay with you, I'll there's a little blurb from the book that talks about like approaching Eversink from the sea. I don't normally like to do box text, but I think it's pretty well written. So if it's okay with you, I'll just kind of read it. You smell her before you see her. The guilds won't have flushed out the canals yet like they do on scouring days, so the smell hits you like a slap in the face. You sail up the delta of the Serpentine River, and the scent of the open sea drifts away to be replaced by the stench of low tide, of boat tar, of rare spices spilled from a smuggler's ship, of cooking smoke, and of open sewers. You can hear her too. Bells ring out across the water and echo like the song of ghosts, loud enough to almost drown out your sailor's chanted prayers. And finally, you see her. You round the bend past the salt flats and the lower fort, and she's sprawled out over scores of islands across the sheltered water. And you gasp, and everything else falls away. Her jeweled and crystal turrets reflect down a shimmering bay full of hundreds of brightly colored boats. Architecture from a dozen eras towers above a tangle of grand plazas and narrow canals. Temples to her goddess rise above the mansions and tenements, calling her people to prayer. She may be ancient and corrupt, slowly and inexorably swallowed by an endless fog, but she's alive in a way most cities are not. She's a melding of faith and stone and wood and water and mud that is unique in all the world. It doesn't matter whether you've come here to kill a rival or earn a fortune or learn a secret or hire an army. You're home now, and the sinking city will embrace you. All you need to do is survive. Welcome to Eversink. At that, I think I'm going to call a short break. I've got just 9 o'clock. Want to come back at 5 past? Awesome.
Hey, Mike. What they call refresh points, the points, the pool that we all can share. When we captured the captain, do we get refresh points for that?
Oh yeah, you do. Let me what's the dice roller? Yeah, I should have gotten 5 points for getting her.
Yeah, I think we were at 8, and I think Dan used a bunch. So whatever we have
I've got-
now.
Yeah, I got on roll 3. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I totally forgot to do that last time. I am going to add 5 more tokens to the sheet. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7. Looks like you've got 9 refresh tokens at the moment.
Sweet.
Yeah, those. Yeah, your refresh tokens carry through the adventure. They're even if the adventure takes multi sessions and you get a chance to rest and whatnot, those refresh tokens stay with you. Are we all back? I think we are. So the shining coin does approach this this long dock that's attached to a quay. You know, ropes are thrown, ties it to the pier, ties the ship to the pier. And yeah, the first people aboard are the harbor master and the city tax collector. And they ask to speak to the captain, who is pretty much right there, and they start talking. Meanwhile, so what are you doing with Precious Coin Tom? Is she like out and about when the harbor master comes? Have you trying to disguise her? Is she?
I think she's still lashed to the mast. She was there throughout the whole battle with the Kraken. You know, like she all but was killed by Kraken many times during that whole hijinks.
I think I will, if I may, I'm going to go ahead and like spend a point of command to essentially give orders to get essentially the bounty payer from the watch up here. We have someone, and spend that to get them to haul ass and get up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you tell the harbor master's retinue that you've got an important prisoner and you need to collect the bounty, and they send off a courier to go get the right person. And at this point, Freshet is trying to not seem she's trying really hard not to seem nervous. I mean, she trusts that Vivi's going to come rescue her, but you are like immediately handing her over to you are kind of immediately handing over to the authorities.
Well, it's good for her to look nervous. We won't want them to think that she believes she's going to escape right away. I mean, she needs to look nervous. This is good. She needs to look worried. She needs to look upset.
Out of character, wasn't she going to give us some money before we turned her in? Or did I miss something?
She had to lead. She had to lead you to it. So
No. Yeah, we have to lead her. We have to break her free first.
Okay.
So yeah,
I regret telling you all that, but
so maybe by Xantimus's thing, maybe we should postpone that then till we get our money.
Well, we got to get paid from the bounty first.
Yeah, this is how we get paid. Yeah.
But isn't she? But she was going to give us some money also, right?
After we break her out.
Oh, after we break her out. Okay.
Yeah.
Sequencing.
Yeah. More money for the bounty, and then a little extra for freeing her.
Okay. Then we take her soul.
No.
So
I wait for the officials to come.
Okay, so while you are waiting for the officials, the official bounty the officials that will be making sure that you actually have the person that the bounty's for, and will be paying for you or paying you for that. There's four kind of sketchy looking people approach the ship with a rickety cart, and basically they clang on a bell and more or less say, "Bring out your dead."
Are these the church people? Because we know about the other people. The other.
Yeah,
dude.
you definitely know that.
Do we have any dead? I don't. I mean, presumably there was a sea monster. I presume some people died.
There's some parts of people, yeah.
Do any of us have connections to the church?
I hate them. I have a negative.
Man, religion is for the fools.
Let's see here. Anyone have felonious intent?
Oh, I think
I have
Yeah.
laws and traditions,
wait.
but I don't have felonious intent.
Got it. Does anyone
I
have
don't
liar's tell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, do I? Nope. No, I'm gullible. I forgot. Oh, Sentinel. I don't know. None of that stuff.
I don't think we have any of that. Oh, no, wait. No, that's Dan. Never mind.
Yep.
I think we're like, yep,
And-
these people
and
seem right.
And anyone have laws and traditions? Anyone have laws and traditions? Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Nobody
Yeah,
has felonious intent.
Yeah, their livery is as you see them approach. They mostly look legit, but Elder Kabori, you know the Church of Denari, and you know that the corpse takers actually are supposed to have some kind of insignia, and yeah, they have insignia, but it's not quite right. It looks like it was. I mean, these look like copies of the insignia, and they're like not the right materials. They're just, basically they're wearing fake uniforms, and you can just see that.
And I think for a second to see if I want to be the one to point this out, but I step over to the only person that's here that I know has general city guard contacts, which is Chrysanthemous, and I come over and say, those insignias don't seem quite right.
Stir my tea. Are these necro goofballs? Vivi.
What? What?
These church folk might be some of those corpse stealers.
Oh, okay. Seems weird. I don't think they'll be exchanging money out in the open.
I think they're going to take them, and we're not going to get any money out of it.
Well, then just
At
call out their shit.
I was going to say, at this point, the ship's bosun has disembarked and is currently so the captain is still like dealing with the harbor master. The bosun is basically inviting these corpse takers aboard to unload a few corpses.
I mean, the question y'all need to ask yourself is, how much do you care about faith versus selling someone's body parts?
I care about these people having a little business that we're not part of right now.
Okay, so profit minded.
I guess the other question is, what are they doing with the bodies?
That would definitely be what I would
can't learn that right now.
Yeah, what I would suggest is perhaps we ask them about their insignias while standing next to White Ruin.
It's usually a good idea. Could be some more dead bodies we end up with.
Yeah, it's a White Ruin's like White Ruin, just sort of like what's it? Dinestra. Where can we find this person?
You dropped the name Dinestra, and these corpse takers, they get real nervous.
That
what
also worked.
they look
Speak
at each
quickly.
other, like what? How do you know? How do you know her? And why do you think we know?
Just answer my question, fool.
I assume you're intimidating them.
Sure. Take a
So-
point off.
I was going to say if you spend a point, they'll if you spend a point, they will totally they'll
It's
totally
hard to
fold.
take him places.
Okay, sure. I burn a point.
Yeah, one of them just says, Dinestra, how do you know? How do you know we're connected?
I told you. Tell me now.
Yeah, she hired
Be
us.
careful. He'll take your soul.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. She hired us to like get the corpses. Yeah, we're not really from the church, but she's paying us.
Where is she?
She's at a mansion. She's like working out of a mansion in the Tangle.
Which one? What's it look like? Who owns it?
He describes.
Is this all in front of the captain and the bosun and other presumably faithful people?
Yeah,
I was going to say. So I was just going to ask, how open are you being here?
very.
Yeah, White Ruin is not subtle.
I would like to say that as this has gone on, I have taken advantage of that moment to walk away over towards where the person who is going to be paying us the bounty has the money. I will take care of that while these three
I
or
don't think
two,
so.
depending on who gets cut, will take care of it. I mean, I'll gesture to Vivi. I don't care if somebody comes with me, but I don't want to be part of that whole thing.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get our money's worth.
Yeah, because when things go pear-shaped, I'll be over here.
The mansion. Where is it? Which one?
Let that go.
We could probably just find out later.
Oh, he says, well, the mansion's called Noble House. It's it's in the Stonemasons Guild in the Tangle.
Okay, I know which one you speak of.
It's
you may
like
go
a British address. It's just got a name.
So the Tangle is called the Tangle because it's among it was a wealthy area at one point, but it's very much it's very much a poor and run down section now. It's called the Tangle because the streets were originally planned once, but over the years, like people have built other buildings, and so there's like lots of twisty, windy alleyways. People have built unofficial buildings. Everything constantly sinks in Eversink, but people have built like hovels atop of hovels, and as the thing sinks, as the city sinks, and new streets are built up. The Tangle is not really planned. It's kind of like grown by accretion. The other weird thing about the Tangle is, even though it is absolutely the poorest section of town, it's got the best street food. Nobles regularly come to the Tangle they'll generally like dress down and slum it just to get some of the best food down there.
I have a level 2 connection to the Sorceress Cabal. Does this Dinestra or this mansion have any links to that? Or do I know of any necromancers collecting bodies? Do I have any leads coming out of that, maybe?
Let's see. That is a good question. Just a moment.
Or I could like go off and meet a contact or something, however works for you.
Okay. No, I was just I'm looking through the adventure here just to see, like, I mean, I'll like out of character. Yes, there's sorcery involved, but there is sorcery involved, but they're not actually connected to the Cabal. So I'm trying to think what you would know. I mean, in order to So if you want to ask about sorcery, if you've got a connection to the Sorcerer's Cabal, I'm going to say you're probably going to have to like track one down and track. You're going to have to. I mean, where one of them are, but you're going to have to like take some time to go.
Okay.
You're going to have to go find your contact and like ask some questions. Yeah,
Okay.
clearly, if there, I mean, this sure does feel like necromancy of some sort.
Yeah.
So your friends in the Sorcerer's Cabal may have some information about that.
Okay.
I mean, these guys, but then again, these guys just told you where they told you where they are taking the corpses, and at this point they like look nervously at each other, and I'm just going to say for the sake of argument that at that before you had started like the Bozit had already started to like walk off to get some crew members to start bringing the bodies up, so he turns his shoulder and looks at you as you were like barking orders at these guys, but he doesn't really seem too concerned about what you're actually talking about.
So I'll tell these guys, I'll say, give this one, and I'll point at Vivi, give this one the money for the corpses.
Money, please.
To the guys that are intimidated, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We can, he looks around shiftily, and like a look of relief crosses their face, like, oh, we thought, as if to say, oh, we thought you were going to like turn us in. You actually just want to cut. You actually just want to cut. Okay. So at this point, are you just kind of like waiting for the sailors' ship to bring the corpses and like load them up and whatnot?
Sure. I mean, at this point, the White Ruin, I'm thinking meta. I guess the next thing, you guys are going to break her out, and White Ruin doesn't really care about that. He might not be the man for that job. That sounds more like a second floor kind of sneak operation. It's not really his jazz. So this might be the moment where he just throws a cowl over his massive body and goes storming off to like his sorceress divination connection to find out more about what's going on with this necromancy, if that works for everybody.
If we're more or less done with the ship, well, I mean, we can just, I can just go into a more narration mode if that's what we want to do.
The only thing that Chrysanthemum cares about right now is that bounty money comes into Vivi and I's hands.
Yeah.
After that, all bets are off. But I want to make sure that that's done. Like, there's people going and corpses and things like that. In my mind, my eyes are still on the prize.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much goes without a hitch. It's probably about 40 minutes. A crew from the a crew from the city justice office shows up.
Hey.
So they're like they're the elite city guards, and an official shows up. I guess he'd probably be a sheriff or a deputy, but he's a law enforcement official shows up, and reads a proclamation and has a bounty wanted poster for Precious Coin Tongue. And you know what? The likeness on the drawing on the poster is pretty damn good. It's pretty clearly her.
Yep. That's money, please.
Come on.
Yeah. So so there is a transaction, and yes, you are given a a small purse. You're given a small purse of coin. But then you look at the coin. Hold on, I need to find the coins. Anyway, it's a small purse, but the coins that are in the purse are really valuable ones.
Yeah, we'll get that broken down.
Platinum pieces and old school D&D terms.
Electrum.
Yeah.
This is
What's
actually
this, copper?
I'm going to say this out of character. So, There is a table in the book on coins of Eversink, and it is like long and Byzantine and makes even less sense than the pre-decimal British coinage system. The British coin system where there were 12 pence to a shilling and 20 shillings to a pound. Yeah, this is like really, really, really long. And the whole idea was, yes, this is absurd. Nobody should pay attention to actually counting coins. It's all abstracted, and we're just dealing with wealth. So you're given a small coin purse that contains 4 wealth.
Okay. Then
And the coin and the kind of
Two
coins
for me.
and the kind of coins that you're using, these are like roughly the equivalent of, say, like $500 bills.
so is Elder Kaburi still with us?
I mean,
Well, unless she
no,
wants to be.
no.
Okay. And so I say, let me take 1/4 of this, 1 wealth. Elder Kaburi, here's 1/4 of this. Vivi, you can hang on to
Yeah.
White Ruins.
Sure. I mean, if he asks for it, I will give it to him. I am not a fool.
Exactly.
If he
Yes.
doesn't,
I was going to say, you want to hang on to your soul, I think.
I put that in your hands.
Mhm.
So
unless I tell him one of you took it. Or Roz took it.
yeah. So let's I want to get money. I want to go have a nice meal on dry land, check in with people and see what's up.
Yeah, get a
And
bath.
then maybe we'll follow the sound of screams down to the tangle.
Yeah, maybe. You know.
There's some money and corpse handling apparently going on there, and it's a little weird enough that I'm not digging it. And then maybe at some point we'll get around to rescuing your friend.
I mean, I was gonna do that tonight. So
Oh, okay, you can do that then.
maybe you guys will be in the tangle. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if this game wants us to stay together or not. Because sword and sorcery is weird like that.
Yeah. Meal, bath, tangle for me.
Okay. And Joe, to your question about does this game assume that you're mostly staying together? I think for the most part, yes, but that's not strictly necessary. I think the game has, I think from a game perspective, I think it's more, I mean, at least the adventure I'm running is written that you're kind of expected to stay together as a group, but that's absolutely not necessary. If you want to run off and do your own thing simultaneously, I am happy to split the action and jump cut between simultaneous scenes in disparate locations. So however you guys want to run it. So Chrysanthemus, you've got the money. You said you're so.
Yeah, essentially, while White Ruin is doing his shenanigans, I'm eating and getting cleaned up. That's my thing. I'm eating well.
Excellent.
And White Ruin is left at this point, and he's headed towards, the ruined ancient temple of the Sorceress Cabal to, commune with the Sith, basically.
Okay. So Sorcerer's Cabals, that's kind of a nebulous term for groups of sorcerers that get together. What is the name of the cabal that you are you have like 2 points in that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, what is one of the Sorcerer's Cabals that you are aware of?
One of the groups, or one of the sorcerers,
or
one and the same.
I was going to say, why don't you say the name of the cabal, and why don't you tell us what the name of the cabal is, and also the name of the sorcerer that you're trying to contact?
Okay. This is the Black Widows, and this is the Zen of the Orb. He's like his specialty is divination, so he's good at, like, you know, divination, I guess. Figuring out what's going on, you know, getting in
Got it.
touch with the energies, you know, using a crystal ball, that kind of thing.
Okay, awesome. So what does the Black Widow's headquarters look like? You said it was kind of like a rundown. It's like
Yeah, it's like a ruined temple in the distant past. You know, there were some darker gods that were worshipped in the city, and they went too far, and the powers that be broke them and destroyed their temple, and it's all just a pile of rocks and ruin. But there are many magical pockets within the ruin that you can get in contact with, and a lot of, you know, sorcerers are drawn to it because of that.
okay. So you head to the you head to the temple. You head to the the Circle of the Black Widows and make the secret knock. It's secret panel in one of the ruined
Secret
walls.
words in a forgotten language.
Yeah. A hidden door is open. You exchange the passphrases and you are invited in. You go down a set of ancient stone stairways that are worn with they've been worn down by being used for centuries. And you go down a long way. There are like torches on the wall. There's like torches like hung in sconces on the walls along here,
But they're like blue light, right?
yeah,
Or
they are.
green light.
Yeah, they're like metal rods with like ghostly, clearly magical flames, clearly unnatural. And you are brought into, I guess, the outer sanctum. And yeah, there's a couple of magical practitioners of various nefarious sorts here. And yeah, you meet with Zen of the Orb. He looks up. He looks up. He's sitting cross-legged on a cushion, and like just on the floor. There's a small hexagonal table in front of him, on which is a crystal ball that's set into a stand. And with that, he doesn't even look up as you approach him. He just says, "Ah, White Ruin, it has been a long time." He then looks up. "Why have you sought me out?"
Zen, I come to gain knowledge, of course. I have brought the required presents, and I'll throw out, you know, several walrus teeth that have the, you know, the ritualistic runes that have been inscribed on them, the same kind of walrus tooth that I was going to draw the soul of Prishka into. And I throw those out on the table, and I say, I need to know who it is that requires the soul, the bodies of the dead, and what they are doing with them.
Bodies of the dead, you say? Necromancy. Yes.
I know a
Yes,
name,
I've heard.
Dinestra.
Oh, Donestra. Yes, I've heard that name. He gazes into his crystal ball and closes his eyes. And when he opens them up again, they're like pearly, milky white. And he says, "Ah, yes, a dabbler, dealing in things he knows not of. Oh, very dangerous. I see. I see a monster of the dead rising up and wreaking havoc through the city. Yes, very foul magic that is."
And as you know, I seek demons. Are there any demons involved in this whole diabolical plan?
Yes, it was a demon that set this into play. I see eyes and a grinning smile, and then he looks quizzically. But I don't see a name. But I do not have a name. But it is deep in the tangle. I see it is, yes, Noble House. It is Noble House in the old Masons district. That is where you will seek him.
Very well.
I
My
believe
thanks then.
yes, and I believe our yes, and I believe that is one fewer favors that I owe you, White Ruin.
We have we have each made our payments to each other. Our tab is, empty at this point. I will seek you again, Zen. My thanks.
At that, he looks down at the orb and starts gesticulating over it. So that information basically is going to require a 1-point spend of your Sorcerer's Cabal.
Okay. If I were to burn both, would there be something more, or should I just burn one?
If you burn, if you burn both, I'll basically give. I would give you more information.
Look deeper, Zen. These teeth were the souls of very strong warriors. This is a great payment that I have given you. Look deeper. Tell me more. Tell me more of the demon.
Be wary. Oh, his smile is deceptive. He was once worshipped as a god. He is called. Where's this cool sobriquet? The fool who summoned him used a book of forbidden knowledge. The demon who has set this into motion is named Uxoriov. He is a demon of deception. He is a demon of lies. He is a demon of honeyed words that conceal poison.
Excellent, Zen. I will use this knowledge. Farewell.
Do well, White Ruin. Take care. There is foul magic afoot there.
Where I pass, there is always foul magic.
That is true. That was a cool scene. I like that a lot. Elder Kabori, what are you doing for the next few hours in Eversink?
Honestly, after the trek on the ship, I think she's relishing just being on ground again, and I think she's basically taking advantage of the available foodstuffs, and has gone around taking effectively doing creating her own little sampler platter from various places of the tangle, because honestly the ship food was starting to wear on her, because hardtack bread, a little tiny bit of fruit to keep scurvy away, that sort of stuff, and she's ready to have some spice. She's ready to have some actual variance to her diet again. So
makes perfect sense to me. Okay. Cool. Any leads you want to follow, or you're pretty much just going to deal with finding a nice place to stay? And
I think that's after getting some food, she's going to find a nice place to stay. Make sure she's findable by her by her companions when the time comes for us to act on any of the things we have stirring in the pot right now, whether it's dealing with the corpse taking, or whether it's dealing with coin tongue again. And she's not quite. I don't think she's ready as soon as jumping off the ship to start start her search for that name. She wants to let the captain thing sort of die down and not have that name start being entering people's ears so soon to the captain being captured, because she wants to make it seem like the captain didn't really give that up.
fair enough.
So after the captain escapes, then she's going to start leaning on that part and going after it.
Okay. Cool. Vivi, what are you doing at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty similar to what Chrysanthemous and Kaburi were doing. Food, bath, sleep, wait till the nighttime. That's when the action happens. Everyone knows that. I mean, that's when it's easiest to break someone out of, jail.
Got it. So your jailbreak plans, is this something you're going to try to do yourself, or are you going to, or do you want to involve the rest of your crew?
I mean, if they want to be involved, I'm like, are you guys good at this? At being subtle? Okay, then I think I got this on my own. Just like
Well,
get all the
Kaburi
profits
is
on
actually
myself.
Kaburi is actually pretty good at it. Like, she's a former, she has her connections.
Fine.
I think I'm the only person who has skullduggery, for instance.
Au contraire. Aside from me.
If he does indeed have some skullduggery. Excellent. Okay. Cool. So she was taken to. Hold on. Let me pull up the listing of various geographical locations in Eversync, so I don't.
It is the jail.
So I keep it straight. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how far from the Tangle that is. Well, I don't think that really matters. So yeah, she's being held in she's being held in the in the central jail. It's it's several districts away from where you are, but you know that she was definitely brought there. In fact,
I mean, I planned for
also
it.
Also
so.
on the dock when they rolled it up with onto the dock before they led her away in chains, they put her into one of those
The big cage thing.
They put her into one of those big cage wagon things that was being drawn by two horses.
Sure, no big deal.
But yeah, that was several hours ago. You know where they're going to take her.
Yeah,
It'd be the main jail.
I've done this sort of thing before. Because I've got 8 in preparedness. So I can flashback, whatever that means.
Oh, okay. So with a flashback, yeah. So with a flashback, you can basically declare that you've set stuff up in advance.
Yeah, totally have. Because I thought I might get arrested someday. So I got all right, here's the loose stone. Here, I know when the guard patrol is going down. I know the best time, so I'm like, all right, girl, I got you.
Awesome. Yeah, you've got a good idea where they're going
We're
to keep
both
this kind.
slight, so we can fit through those stones better than White Ruin ever could.
Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about? So you're going to try to so you're going to sneak up to the exterior of the building. You're going to try to pull the stone out that leads to a secret corridor or something like that. How do you want to?
Sure.
How are you?
I got my veil on to protect my identity. Hair tied back.
Okay. So you're definitely going to have to try to get past some guards before you can get to this.
Yeah, that's why I memorized their rotation.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you're going to need, in order to get past them, I think you're going to need to make a stealth roll.
Okay.
I'm going to set the target at 4.
All right. Well, I'll spend. So I need to roll a 4.
Yeah, you need to get a 4.
All right. So I'll spend.
So are each of us making this roll, or do we
No,
make it together?
Oh, that's right. You're there. That's right. You're there too. Sorry, I was thinking. Sorry, I was thinking that Vivi was doing this on her own.
I thought we were doing it together. Vivi, if this is something you were,
no, I'm okay with you being there too. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna say. I'm trying to think how groups on stealth go. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think each of you are going to have to. There are guards. I think each of you are going to have to make a stealth roll. And the threshold is 4, so you need to get a 4 or higher. And you can spend your stealth points to adjust that roll, and you can spend refresh points. But you need to declare how many points you're going to spend before you roll the die.
All right, so I'll spend 2 stealth points. Can you separate stealth and refresh?
You can add you can pull from both.
All right, well, I'll just spend 2. I'll be a little risky.
Okay. Which of the dice are you rolling?
Can I add preparedness to this?
You can only spend from. Well, I mean, this is pretty much stealth, and generally when you're doing a when you're adding points from an ability, you can pretty much only spend points from a general ability, or if you want to, you can spend a relevant investigative spend. Tell me how that's working, and if you spend a point from an investigation, that's going to add 3 to your die.
Which is basically no need to roll, right?
True, but if you roll high, generally if you exceed by 5, you get it's a critical hit.
All right, yeah, no, I'll spend a charm.
You get a little something.
I'll spend a charm in that I've bribed the guards.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, you can play it that way.
Yeah.
So you can spend. So yes, you can spend both an investigative spend and general ability and refresh points. So what's your bonus going to be on this roll?
Well, I'm gonna just spend if the investigative spend gives me a +3, I'm just spending the 1 point of charm.
Okay. From a tactical perspective, you might want to save your investigative points because they're a little more flexible. But it's really up to you. If that's the way you want to go, let's do it.
That's how I'm doing it.
Okay.
Live fast, die young.
There we go. Which of the dice are you rolling?
I guess 1d6, right? Isn't that what we just rolled?
Yeah. It's going to be 1d6 plus the 3.
All right. Well, I rolled a 1, so +3 is a 4.
+3 is 4, so you got it.
Glad I did that instead of the just spending 2.
No, there is that. Okay. Elder
I
Kabori.
guess I'll make my roll and see. I'm gonna spend 3 stealth points.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna be safe on this. Because I'm a more mature lady. I'm not playing it so close to the edge. So I'll roll the yellow die,
Okay.
and makes it an 8.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, you're able to get past the guards between Vivi bribing one and Elder Kabori. So what does that look like? How are you stealthing through there?
I think Kaburi basically takes advantage of like the spacing of the lamps and torches in the halls, where the shadows fall, where those random bits of curtain or furniture are placed around the windows and things like that, and sort of just moves between those at intervals, because the guards, as much as they pretend to try and vary their patrol schedules, they don't. This is the same routine for them day in and day out. They're not paid well enough to vary patrol schedules. So they're on an exact routine, and half the time they're a little late. They stumble. They take a smoke break at the end of the hall, that sort of stuff. Like
Awesome.
they're no supervisors here at night to really watch them. As long as nobody gets out, they don't get in trouble.
Okay, so the two of you have managed to get to the de facto secret door that Vivi had set up at some point in the past. You're able to get there undetected. You get in. You get down to the dungeon level that you're pretty sure the high-profile prisoners are going to be kept. And yeah, you're in this dungeon corridor. There's just a couple of torches. It's really dimly lit. It smells really foul. The air is fetid and very close. Yeah, so there's a corridor. I'm going to say there's 8 cells off of this room. They're heavy wooden doors with they're heavy wooden doors with like a small window that has iron bars on it. There's also a thin slot at the bottom of the door that can be opened up to pass in meals. You don't know which cell she's in, but there are 8 of them. You also don't know you don't know which are necessarily you don't know necessarily which one Precious in. What's your I'm not going to make you do, this ain't D&D. I'm not going to have you make a whole lot of checks. What's your general approach here to try to figure out where Precious is?
Well, so the way I imagined it as my preparedness, I had the secret passage, but it's actually behind all the cells. So I've take the bricks out of the wall. I planned long in advance. So I've got an entryway to all of them. So I could do a peek hole. I could also break everyone out, but that would be a bit much. I didn't make deals with those people. So I could take a small rock out to peek in at each one. How many? So just to how many points of preparedness can I spend to just wrap everything up in one thing? Because it's going on 10.
Yeah, that's true. It is getting kind of late. So let's do it this way. I'm going to say if you get a 9, that'll be a critical success on the roll, and yeah, you're out and you're scot-free.
All right, I'll spend all 8 points. But bam. I'm not even going to bother rolling. Does it matter?
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess a critical doesn't really matter here. So, yeah, if you're blowing all 8 points, I'm just going to say, yeah, you've sprung her.
I was all right, okay. And
you've got her out.
Start pulling the small rocks out of the thing. Hey, come on, get out.
It's I knew you'd come back for me.
course I would. Of course I would.
And yeah, the three of you go back through. You're back on the street.
Put the rock back. Lead her back, and I do the hand up. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Fantastic. Yeah,
It's like a
you have
Skyrim
sprung it.
jailbreak.
Awesome. Yeah, it goes flawlessly. You've got her out. You're on this. You successfully get out of the area, avoid the guards, and at this point, Prescia takes
All right,
you to. She says, "Okay, well, thank you so much. I guess I owe you." She says, I owe you some money."
Yep. Yes, you do.
Yeah, she actually leads you back to the. She actually goes. She's discussed. She doesn't make. She was not dressed particularly well at this point. Did you bring some kind? And I'm going to say with that preparedness spend, I'm guessing you brought a disguise for her to change into.
Yeah, sure. I've got spare clothes.
She leads you back to the tangle, and to make a long story short, she brings you to a safe house where, she says, "I'm going to hole up here."
Yeah, what's your plan? You got a line on a new ship?
I have some people I know.
Okay.
I got a few favors I can try to cash in.
Well, keep me in mind.
Absolutely.
You never know when it gets too hot. Might need to.
And I think this is yours, and this is yours. And she hands you a small gem. It's actually worth 3 wealth.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah,
Easily concealed. It's not,
Yep.
it's not treasure chest full of medium grade coins.
Yeah, we'll sell this later. I'm sure we'll get around to that.
So she says, I'm probably going to I'm going to be in town for a few days until I can get my things in order, but I'm getting out of here fast because I know the heat's on, especially tomorrow morning there once they realize I'm gone. Anything else you want to do with the now free Captain Cointongue?
I can't think of anything. So
okay.
You can just screen wipe over.
Okay, so I guess it is the next morning. What is everyone's plans?
Well, I think the White Ruin is pounding on the doors of each of your rooms, wherever you abide. Says, "I know where the demons are. Let's go. Dinestra's just a fool. The real power behind her. I know where they are. Come on, Byzantius, get dressed. Let's go."
I don't think I'm there since I had a plan for what I wanted to do that evening.
Okay.
Okay, I was going to say I was going to say we've advanced.
Yeah, I thought they were doing stuff
it's like
at the same time as us.
Yeah, I was going to say that was all last night. It's now the next morning.
But did you want to do something at the same time as I was doing something?
My plan had been to eat, bathe, and go down to the Tangle and sit on Noble House and wait for the White Rune to show up, which I know will happen, and just basically case the joint and wait for him to show up.
Cool.
Maybe with our friends in tow. That I'm cool with.
Okay, cool. I had assumed that you were just going to base. I thought you'd said you were. Anyway, misunderstanding. Cool. Yeah, you are casing the joint. So before White Ruin gets there, let's see. Give me a little bit about. Let's see here. Seeing what you know about Noble House. Sorry for the pause. It's Google Docs is being rather slow tonight. So there, so you yeah, you find Noble House. It's a rather at least once it was a nice looking handsome building, although it's fallen into a bit of repair over the years. Clearly at one point it was a 3 or possibly 4-story building. 2 of the stories have sunken in, so it's basically it's a 2-story building now. There is a, like, casing it, you can tell there's a garden on the roof. Can't see it so well from street level, but yeah, you can definitely see that it's got a flat roof. There's there's like a couple of trees that are going up that look like they're fairly well maintained. So someone is definitely gardening up there. Yeah, the building was you just know from being in the city that this part of the town was once very prosperous, and this is where the Masons Guild had been. Noble House had been and let's see, Forgotten Lord, we don't have city secrets. I guess you wouldn't know that. Yeah, it's a nice looking place. It's seen better days. It's got the masonry looks like it was expertly done.
Let me give you the shorthand of what I want to do so we can cut to White Ruin arriving. Basically, I just want to watch so that when they show up, I can say whether I've seen people come and go. I've got prophecy and forgotten lore. So basically, I'm sniffing for magic around here. If I smell anything, just so I'm prepared, like if I smell, particular flavor of it or whatever. But otherwise, I'm sitting on my haunches, stealth, waiting in case in the joint.
Okay. So case in the joint, yeah. There seem to be 2 guards out front that they're trying to not appear to be guards, but they're clearly guards. They don't look like they're too tough. It's like one man, like one youngish man, one youngish woman. They're kind of patrolling. They're kind of like, anyway, they don't like they'd be too hard to get past. There's a canal that so Eversink is like just like is it's kind of like Venice in that there are canals everywhere. There is a canal that goes on the other side of Noble House.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those urban canals where there's like sheer walls that just go down into the water. Some of them have like, and you can't really see it from this angle, so you don't know if there's a you don't know if there's a canal. Yeah, you don't know if there's a canal side loading dock.
All right.
There may very well be. It wouldn't surprise you, but you don't know for certain. You don't see signs of anyone that matches the description of Denastra, but yeah, there's definitely a couple of guards.
And I'm not sniffing a lot of magic around here.
Sniffing magic. Normally detecting magic would be the spirit sight sense. I'm going to say there's no obvious magic that's really clear from this side.
So I'm cool, because what I know is going to happen is White Ruin is going to come down here and kill those people and kick in the doors, and it doesn't seem to me like there's any obvious problem with that. Like I'm not seeing any like magical or big explosions, or there's like a monster out here. I'm not seeing any signs of that. That's all I'm doing is making sure that I don't have to say to White Ruin, maybe you should hold for a moment.
Got it.
Okay. So I'm good.
You're not. Yeah. You're definitely not. You're definitely not picking up like serious magic.
Don't detect any active traps. Okay.
Correct. Cool. So what time of night is this? Or is it the next morning, or how?
Oh yeah, no, you can cut to the next morning. I'm set. I just sit there on my haunches all night.
Yeah, I
watching.
probably have dragged the Vivi and Elder Kaburi, informed them what I learned and said, let's go.
Okay, awesome. So I'd like to call another 5-minute break. Then we'll come back and we'll start, and we'll come back and start in on Noble House.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So I've got just 5 after. So be back at 10 past. Okay, I think everyone's back. So it's the morning. White Ruin arrives. I assume Vivi and Kabori are also arriving at about the same time. Okay. So Chrysanthemum, one thing that you noticed through the night and into the morning, well, maybe not all through the night, but when you got there, you definitely, I mean, in the middle of the night, there's not a whole lot of activity around here. Once the once the sun rises, people do start milling about. There's like a food cart that's set up not too far from here.
Oh yeah. Wander over, get a banh mi, come back, sit at my place again, gnaw on that for a while.
Two things that you notice. One, there's when the wind shifts and is blowing from Noble House, you get a distinct. It's faint. You get a distinct, the distinct stench of death. It's not omnipresent. Definitely coming from the house. The other thing that you notice is you hear the sound of like hammer on. You hear the sound of like tapping of hammer on steel, and it seems to be coming like more or less from the rooftop of the house. There's like a couple of hours stretch that you don't hear it, but it's definitely sounds like the sound of like a steel chisel on stone, like someone's carving stone.
I'm just waiting for White Ruin.
Okay, I'm gonna say yeah. This is about when everyone arrives.
You feel a chill, and you turn around, and there he is. Mike, I'm wondering. I don't know you tell me if this is plausible, but I was thinking of having like a little ritual before we went in, where maybe I call on dark forces to maybe like do a protection spell to like protect us from the dead. Like, of course, my version would be like to imbue us with undead energy, with negative energy, maybe for at least hopefully just a short time. But does that sound plausible? Burn a corruption point, of course.
Let me just double check that. I know when people use magic to attack. I forget how it works on magic to defend. Let me do a quick look up here. I just want to get the game mechanics right because I'm
sure.
Let's see. Royal hazards, traps, sorcery, and corruption.
And it could just be sort of a narrative thing too. It could be just allow us maybe to bypass certain things or something. Yeah. I don't know. But
no, I totally get it. I just want to refresh myself on how using magic as a defense works. And I'm just double checking your.
I was thinking of like demonology.
Okay. Sorry, this is being really slow. Okay, and your spheres are cold, wind, and demons. Oh yeah, demons, perfect. I know there's a way you can use magic to like give yourself an immediate. It can boost your defenses, and I forget how that works. Okay, here we are. How sorcery works. Okay, so use sorcery to describe any opposed regular activity that most people can do. It doesn't require a test. Oh yeah, one other thing, if you have, this is just kind of a general thing toward magic using characters. You can do anything with any investigative ability, but just say it's coming from magic. So you could conceivably, use intimidation and say that it's, you're magically altering your voice to make it sound particularly intimidating.
How about if I say that would it work to say that it raises our threshold by 1? You know what I mean? Our health and morale thresholds. Would that act basically as armor if I understand the game mechanics correctly? Or give us an extra point of armor, I guess, or grit against undead, I suppose.
Hold on a second. I just
I don't want to break the game either, so just say no.
Yeah.
If it's easier that way.
Yeah, just given time, I'm going to table rule no, and I'm going to table rule no for now. I know that there is a mechanic that allows you to use magic to like boost your defenses like a lot briefly. I'm not sure how to do it to boost it a little bit for a long time.
Okay.
I just need to. I'm gonna spend between now and the next session. I'm gonna review the sorcery rules just to make sure I know how that works.
So let me just
figure out a way that we could make this work.
Let me just like plant the seed then. So like we arrive, and I'll say like gather around. My magic will protect us from what I expect we'll find inside. This may hurt. In fact, it will hurt a lot, but it won't kill you or damage you permanently.
Hard pass. I'm a mage. I'll step back.
Okay.
Is this optional?
Do you want to live?
I feel pretty confident in my own capabilities of survival.
Very well. What about you, Elder Kaburi? Will you accept my magics?
This time.
Very well. So
there are necromancers in there.
I'll pull out like my polar bear knife, and as I said, this will hurt.
Oh, I'm not dead.
I'll I'll cut like a cut across my chest, and then I say, "Let me see your hand." And I'll do the same with your hand, and I'll mix our blood together, and then this cold magic will enter into your body, and hypothetically, you'll be protected from the undead.
So you're saying I have
like
the same level of protection.
I was going to say I kind of like this. I'm just going to say that. Sure, I like this. If you want to, you're using a spell here. I'm going to say if you want to burn a point of corruption and tell me whether you're going to internalize this corruption or if you're going to like put it into the city.
I think Elder Kaburi and I will both share an internal corruption. How's that sound? Maybe less for Elder Kaburi, but.
So I was going to say this will. I'm going to say that this spell of protection will boost both your armor and your grit by 1 for the rest of this. Basically for the rest of this adventure once you get through Noble House.
Okay.
I think that seems to me like a fair spend.
Okay. So I'm just going to change it right on my sheet to armor 2 and grit 2. Yeah. Sounds like Chris, you can do the same.
Well, were you about to say something?
Recall sorcery, we don't have to spend. I mean, we like other investigatives, like corruption. We don't have to spend. We can do it. Very basic things with that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You can do just basic stuff with sorcery without spending anything.
Then I'll say, White Ruin, 2 guys in the front door. Do you want to just kick that in, or do you want me to hop us up onto the roof and we go in that way?
I see no problem with going in the front door.
Okay, good. Okay.
And off he goes.
I step back.
Yeah, so I'll just lead the way. And now, Mike, before we jump into this, from my conversation with Zen the Orb, make sure I understand. So my read was that there is some necromantic activity going on in here. There is some sort of necromancer sort of behind it all, creating some sort of creature of the dead, and that it's somewhere below. The actual mansion isn't where the action is. It's down below. Is that right?
I
Or
don't know.
am I making that up?
I think you might have been making that up. The other thing that that Zen told you is that the person who set this into motion doesn't really know what he's doing, and has been and it and is specifically dealing with a demon who speaks honeyed words mixed with poison.
Okay. So I'll say, you must know that there's what was the demon's name again? I did learn that too.
Yes.
Alkari or something like that?
Uxoria. I'll put that in the chat.
Uxaria. Okay. There is a demon Uxaria. It works in this place. The necromancer that has summoned it cannot control it. It will speak words, lies to you, and try to fool you. Make your choices.
Oh, good. So there is a demon here. That's good for you.
Very good.
See, everything's coming up. White Ruin.
Make your
Exactly.
choices, but this demon must be freed and let loose, or let it break its bounds that this foolish necromancer has used to control it. Anyone that stands in our way must die. And off he goes.
Awesome. So what's this look like? You're like just kind of like sauntering up to the front door. Are you rushing at him?
Right, sauntering up, and no stealth, just going at him. As he walks, he pulls out his narwhal horn and his polar bear knife and gets to business.
Okay, so like the guards like see you approach, and they get up and they put their hands on their sword hilts and says, excuse me, yeah, no one's allowed in here. And then they realize that you actually are a lot closer to them than they thought you were.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like they are taking a defensive position to try to keep you out of this building. What are you doing?
I'm gonna kill them.
Okay. I think you clearly have the initiative. So how are you going to go about killing these two?
These mooks, I take it?
These are mooks, yeah.
Okay. I think what I'll do, maybe I'll use sway. They'll just be terrified and run away. How's it? That's my goal, maybe?
Absolutely. So absolutely, you try to convince them to go away. So I mean, it's going to be a sway attack, but but what's that look like?
I think they just see White Ruin, 7 feet tall, 300 and some pounds, emanating demonic cold energy, and they say, you know what, whatever we're getting paid isn't worth this, and they jump into the convenient Venetian canal that's sitting there.
Okay, I think I see that you have 8 sway, so you can play to the crowd. Their threshold is 3, and since you have play to the crowd, for every 3 points you exceed that by, basically if you get a 6, you're going to get them both.
Okay. So I need to roll a 6.
You roll a d6, and you need to get a 6 in order to get them both.
Okay. And how do you get extra points?
You spend points of sway.
Points of sway. Okay. So I will spend. I'll spend 5 points of sway to make sure it just happens. If I understand the math.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead and roll anyway, just to see if you get a critical and like something extra cool happens.
Okay.
We get some refresh points if he crits, right?
Well, you get refresh points for defeating the mooks, which is
okay.
I'm gonna delete my die and start over. I think I've heard that that's the way to do this now with roll for your party. Submit. All right, here we go. got a 4. So 4
Okay.
plus 5 is 9.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, they see you coming and they lose their nerve and beat feet. What are they like? You said that they see you coming and the fastest way is
They
to jump.
shriek and jump in the canal.
They shriek, jump into the canal, and start swimming for it. Okay, the front
Right.
door is now unguarded.
Okay. As predicted by Xantimus, I kick it down.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't think we need a roll for any of that. Yeah, you kick the door in.
Say, let's go.
Okay, so the four of you like rush in. It doesn't seem like there's anybody there immediately. Even though it's morning, the inside of the place is pretty dark. Looks like a lot of the shutters are still closed. In fact, now that you're looking at it, it's really dark in here. And all of the shutters are closed. The there are a couple of lit candles providing kind of dim light.
Fire.
Okay. And now you have a magical torch in your hand. I just foresee this as your fire there, and there's just like a ball of fire that's hovering slightly above it.
Mm-hmm.
Checking time. It's almost 10:30, so I think I don't necessarily want to start a new combat here because that's about what's going to happen.
Feels like a big set piece, yeah.
Yeah. So as you're so basically you walk into this room and it's a so now that you're inside this building, you realize that it's actually not really a mansion. It really was a tenement building that the exterior has been carved to look like a mansion. It's still well appointed in here, in that someone's owned the building and has been basically converting a multi-unit tenement building into what looks like a mansion. This thing would have been seriously out of place, but yeah, so you walk into this room and it was clearly originally just an apartment, but it's now been converted into a it's like what a poor man would imagine a rich man's foyer should look like. And as you walk in and you look around, there's another open doorway ahead, which looks like it perhaps goes into another more of a hallway. And as you are about to enter the room, a deep woman's voice from the shadows says, "You picked the wrong house to knock over." And stepping into the shadow is, well, Vivi, you've met her before. It's Denastra.
We're actually here for you.
And it's like, hey, you picked the wrong place to knock over. She steps into the shadows. She's looking really intimidating. She's holding a crossbow.
Excuse you. We do not knock over places. I mean, White Ruin might literally do that,
yeah,
but not in how you mean.
And I think this might be a good place to end because I don't want to really start a combat now. And so I'm figuring that next is going to be session 3 of 3. There's not a lot left to this particular adventure, so we'll basically wrap this up and then probably follow one of the other leads. I like the idea of the what was their name? Elder Kabori's the Court of Tides. Thank you. So I'll come up with a little something to do that. Yeah, I really love these characters. So I'm going to do a quick start. I'd like to do a quick little stars and wishes things, and if it's okay,
Sure.
I'll start. I'll just say, for stars, I love your characters. I think these are really fun characters. I regret that we're only in a 3-session series because I'd love to see what these characters continue to do. Yeah, wishes. I wished I'd reread the magic rules before I started this, but anyway.
It sounds like it's pretty like abstract and make it up as you go kind of thing, as far as I can tell.
It very
Yeah.
much is. It's kind of free form, you know, kind of like what makes sense at the time. A friend of mine referred to Gumshoe as being a trad adjacent role playing game where, you know, it's got a lot of rules, but it's also very, very narrative. And if anyone wants to jump in with a star or a wish, now would be the time.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
But I was going to say, so I've played Gumshoe before, and one of the things I'm used to with standard Gumshoe is that you look at the skill list of investigative abilities, and it's pretty clear to see what's going on and, you know, how you cover that and stuff like that. The way they've done this, where like the Sentinel has these things and they kind of got weird names on them, it actually, I find that a little like that's clearly something you're going to have to learn and figure out, because now I'm like, okay, well, I should have put points into that, you know, and it feels like there's like notice is a basic thing in most Gumshoe things. There's no notice in this that's like easily recognizable. It's a little bit of the same problem I have with Ashen Stars, where all of the names of the skills, you're like, I have no idea what that does, without knowing it. So that's the thing. I just wanted to mention that because that's the thing that struck me tonight. Still love the characters. Still love White Ruin going off and charging through. Joe, I appreciate you playing with the whole pirate, good cop, bad cop, and all of that. And yeah, so I dug it. Wishes. I just want to see what the characters do next time.
I'd add a wish that I think sometimes, Mike, I had a trouble figuring out if you wanted to like have like a more moment to moment sort of adventure, like get into the minutia of our actions, or you wanted it to be like hard cuts from scene to scene. So maybe make that more clear, because I had trouble figuring out, like, I want to jump to this next point, but is that what we're doing, or are we kind of like taking our steps in between place A and place B, you know what I mean? So that's one thing I was thinking about.
Cool. Thanks for pointing that out. That's actually a thing that I sometimes struggle with as a GM. Most of my background's in more trad, where you do kind of do point by point by point, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do like hard frame shift changes, or hard shift frame change. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm still trying to work through how best to do that, and sometimes I'm not sure if people want to keep digging in. I just kind of like want to go where you guys want to have fun with. But yes, thank you for pointing that out. I'll try to do a better job of hard framing scenes when it seems that's where we want to go.
And my feel on this particular game is, you know, given that we're just doing 3 sessions and that it's sword and sorcery, I would say my feeling is that it'd be better to like have like, you know, big moment after big moment, you know, like make it high energy, you know, high excitement, you know, really push that and cut out as much of that sort of like, you know, investigative aspect, which I guess kind of goes against what the rules are about, I guess. Or you know what I'm saying?
I'm enjoying being in the goofy minutia of the interactions, though. And I think with 3 sessions, we have a little more space for that. But yeah, I think you're right, to a little more hard framing and structuring would keep that pacing and momentum up.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Let's see. I've got a couple of stars out. Joe, I love the just complete scoundrel vibe that I get from Vivi. It's awesome. Just that her using that, I thought was great. And Lowell, I enjoy Chrysanthemus's like just sort of like Not being I get this vibe like he's basically he's just trying to really figure this out as he goes still, which is unusual for somebody who's probably like 80, 90 years old by this point, is the vibe I'm getting, and still trying to figure it out as he goes, which is great. And I really enjoy seeing the White Ruin just sort of like force of nature his way through literally every point. Like no, like just no nuance, no nothing. Just like, there's the door, front door. That where you're going? Yeah, just walk right up to it.
Is that contrast work for you guys? Like, because you guys are more like, careful, and he's not.
It did. At the start, I was a little nervous, but but you did you did the right play. Like you set up the hard frame, and then we came in and we kind of ameliorated that a little bit, and you were willing to move off. And I like that kind of interplay because that felt good. That back and forth.
Sure.
That you weren't playing chicken with us. You were giving us a scene opportunity, and we played that out.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the Pirate Queen scene with that was I thought perfect with like you and Vivi, and then like the sort of opening that created for like a couple of people. I thought that worked out really well. And like I said, I can see those scenes in my head with like there's this house. We know there's at least some sort of horrible demon trapped down there, and probably at least one necromancer. Let's just go kicking. White Ruin's just right through the front door with not even a knock, just a kick, and then we're in the thick of it.
Because I want to stir the pot, but I don't want to like make you guys do certain things. I'm doing that on purpose. Like you just said, Chris. Like setting the stage with the very beginning with her lashed to the mast. And then I did that. I set the stage and let you guys jump in. And I backed off and said, let you guys have your moments too. And I think that worked. It seemed to work pretty well.
I think so too. And Mike, I appreciate you letting me sort of like fudge in this Court of Tides nonsense. Like I enjoyed getting to mess around with that and getting to have that to interplay with the captain. I thought that was pretty fun too.
So yeah, stars to all our characters. I still don't know how we know each other, but it's funny that we know each other.
All right.
I think of it. I'm sorry. One more last thing.
Please.
I'm working from like a Conan novel, where you just jump in and it's a short story, and all of a sudden Conan's involved with these people. Like Robert E. Howard doesn't really bother to really lay much backstory. He just jumps into it, and there you go.
Well, thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed this tonight. I was afraid I was going into this with pretty low energy because I didn't have a great day at work today, and I'm like a little loopy on allergy meds. But I think I had fun. I hope you guys did, and I think we will call it here.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, everyone.
You're going to post this?
I am going. Oh yes, I am intending to post this if everyone is okay with that.
Affirmative.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you much.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.